Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So first up, I'm sure you've seen it by now, but Elon finally confirmed that this new 9,000-ton gigapress will be used for the Cybertruck. Just want to clear up some possible misconceptions. So I did see some people online saying they're thinking that the 9,000-ton press will be for the exoskeleton, what you see right here, because Elon said it's for the Cybertruck body. However, remember that these rear underbody and the front underbody castings that we're familiar with on the Model Y are considered part of the body as well. So it's expected that the stainless steel exoskeleton will be folded or bent separately from the rear underbody and the front underbody castings that will be pressed with this 9,000-ton machine. Now, it's possible that maybe the 9,000-ton machine will be for the rear underbody to support that more weight in the back, and that maybe Tesla will use the 6,000-ton or a future 8,000-ton press that is yet to be delivered for the front, but we just don't know for sure. So presumably we'll have the two castings, one in the rear, one in the front. We'll have the structural battery pack and then the stainless steel exoskeleton. And I'll just say it's pretty difficult to estimate the production timeline just based on when Tesla's going to receive the gigapress. Going back to the Model Y, they received the first shipment of the boxes with Idra on it back in the summer of 2021. Then they received some more earlier this year. And the first time we actually saw the gigapress set up was earlier February of this year. So for me, I'm hoping for Q4 2023 for the first customer Cybertruck deliveries. Tesla app updates shared some new assets from the latest version of the software. And as you can see, this top one is charging from the grid. And down here, some people are getting excited about discharging to the grid. But remember, this could be for the Powerwall, and as far as we know, unless there's been an update recently, most Tesla vehicles would indeed need new hardware before they could enable vehicle-to-grid charging, so be cautious with this one. Some pretty exciting news here as Panasonic has sent Tesla some sample batteries, and yes, they are 4680's. And it gets even better. Panasonic said mass production of the new 4680 is set to begin in its new fiscal year starting March 2023 in Japan before production is moved to North America, reconfirming that Panasonic is indeed looking to open a factory here in the States, still potentially considering Kansas and Oklahoma as far as we know. We know Tesla and Panasonic have been working together at Giga Nevada for years, and the latest update on capacity there is only 39 gigawatt hours per year, so why wouldn't Panasonic expand these 4680 lines at Giga Nevada? Well, the rumor on the street is Tesla's struggling to find talent and people that want to live in the desert, so it might be better to have the factory closer to Giga Austin where they'll use these 4680s, and it'll be a better place for attracting talent. Goldman Sachs has cut its Tesla price target to $1,000 per share from $1,200 previously. The only thing I want to touch on their reasoning, they said in terms of demand, key metrics we monitor that correlate with auto demand like housing data and consumer sentiment have slowed, and we're reducing our global auto forecast in conjunction with our colleagues. I would push back on this though, at least for Tesla, because it's very possible that overall auto demand comes down while demand for Tesla continues to go up. Tesla isn't working from the peak of its demand like some of these incumbent automakers. They're still a, relatively speaking, new company coming from only 1 million sales last year. So in my opinion, Tesla still has plenty of runway to grow its demand no matter what the overall auto market is doing. There's a new 24-stall Supercharger station at Bucky's in New Braunfels, Texas. Sharing this because it is in between Austin and San Antonio, right here on the map, so many people in this area will be very pleased. Gary Black and the Future Fund did a paid live stream this morning talking about investing and a little bit of Tesla stuff. We'll cover any of those details tomorrow. I just wanted to highlight this one slide. You're looking at a Bloomberg estimate chart of Tesla's forward-looking PE ratio over the last 3 years. As you can see right now, it sits around 48, off from the highs of 180 back at the end of 2020, and the low was 25 also earlier that year, March of 2020. And just to give you guys some context, Tesla's average forward PE has been 88, and it currently sits at 48, with the lows being 25. Tesla released a conflict minerals report. It's very dry. I will link it below though if you want to read through it. Effectively, it just goes over how it sets up rules and regulations for who it ultimately sources its raw materials and products from, just ensuring that they're all aligned with Tesla's mission. From a German publication, we get some new detail about the Berlin expansion. In addition to a freight station with handling, storage, and parking areas, Tesla wants to build a maintenance, repair, and service center there as well. But there's more. Childcare as well as recreation and training rooms for employees are also to be built on this new 110-hectare area that is currently going through the approval application process. Holmar says apparently someone at Tesla said the Texas Model Y with 4680 and structural pack can be charged to 100% regularly, mimicking the traits that to date only LFP packs have been able to do. So this has not been confirmed, so as always, be careful. I would just add, I think there's at least a chance that this new pack with the 4680s is software limited, meaning the actual capacity of the physical pack is more than Tesla is leading on right now. So potentially they could charge to 100% that is software limited, leaving that extra buffer in the actual battery pack capacity. So don't operate under the assumption that this is true until we get more confirmation. But Tesla has said previously that these new 4680 cells are not LFP, so that's not the reason that these new packs could potentially be charged to 100%. Here we have more fun news in the ESG space as Deutsche Bank has been raided by authorities over ESG greenwashing. And so far, these are just allegations, but it's that DWS, or the original German firm, now the retail operations for Deutsche Bank, has been advertising so-called ESG financial products for sale as being particularly green and sustainable when they actually weren't. And in response, Elon says, I have yet to see an ESG list that isn't fraudulent. On FSD, Elon was asked any ideas if safety score folks will get added later this week with the release of 10.12.2. Elon said yes, unless we encounter unexpected issues. 10.12.2 seems solid so far, but as always, please be extremely vigilant. There were 2 leaked Tesla emails from Elon. This is the first one. You've probably seen it by now, so I won't read it to you. You can pause the screen and read it for yourself if you haven't yet seen it. The gist is that Elon is putting an end to remote work for executive staff. Bear in mind, this email was not going to all employees. It was just for the executive staff, and that does change things when it comes to the tone of certain emails and what we're talking about here. And responding to and thus confirming that first email as being real, Elon said they should pretend to work somewhere else. And here's the second email that just came out. Elon says, subject, to be super clear, everyone at Tesla is required to spend a minimum of 40 hours in the office per week. The office must be where your actual colleagues are located, not some remote pseudo office. If you don't show up, we'll assume you've resigned. The more senior you are, the more visible must be your presence. That's why I lived in the factory so much, so that those on the line could see me working alongside them. If I hadn't done that, Tesla would have gone bankrupt a long time ago. There are of course companies that don't require this, but when was the last time they shipped a great new product? It's been a while. Tesla has and will create and actually manufacture the most exciting and meaningful products of any company on earth. This will not happen by phoning it in. So first, there was an alarming number of people complaining about the tone in Elon's first email. I personally don't have any problem with it, especially given that it's to executive staff and not all employees. But even if it was, Elon is who he is. He's very direct, to the point. He's not going to coddle anyone. And if you don't get on board with Tesla and the mission, then you're not going to work there very long. It's been that way for a long time. So I think that's part of why Tesla is so successful, but it does not appeal to everyone. And some other people are arguing, well, if Tesla was really about its mission, it wouldn't unnecessarily make people commute to work. But to this, in the grand scheme of things, is Tesla's executive team commuting really polluting the planet that much? My answer would be no. And hey, I get it. Working from home is a beautiful thing. Many people have become accustomed to this for better or for worse. However, when it comes to Tesla, they are indeed making real products. And remember, their entire system is built on the agile infrastructure, meaning people collaborate a lot. Divisions work with each other and talk and move quickly. And if they're out of the loop, there is an argument to be made that they wouldn't be as successful. Now, will Tesla lose some talent with his new initiative from Elon? It's possible, but I personally would not worry about it at all. I think the people that want to be there and want to be on board will be, and those that don't like this policy will ultimately leave, but it is what it is, and they'll fill those positions with somebody else. And with this whole topic, just remember, Tesla is not like other companies that just have normal office jobs. Tesla literally just built Giga Austin with its offices directly overlooking the factory floor so that everybody can communicate and work together and collaborate and hear what's going on, because even though you may only work in HR or one division, we know Tesla gives that employee autonomy to work on other problems if that opportunity arises and they think they have a solution. So naturally, if your higher level staff is removed from that process, you will indeed miss out on opportunities and ideas that you would otherwise have if they were there in person. And lastly, I would just say, generally speaking, I do feel like America has become very soft, especially in the last few years. Yes, there's been a ton of success and prosperity over the last few decades, but heading in that direction doesn't mean great things for the future. So overall, I agree with this. I understand the pushback, but not at all concerned, and I personally do like Elon laying the smackdown with this in particular. Exciting news here, as Tesla owners SV shared, all right, the Elon interview happened. They shared their YouTube channel where they will drop the interview. They didn't give a timeline, but I'll include their YouTube channel below. GM is making some big moves with its Buick brand that hasn't been that successful in the States, but it has been pretty relevant in China, looking to go all electric by 2030, and they are making some big changes. GM is planning the introduction of a new electric SUV in 2024, and all future Buick EVs will carry the Electra name, along with an alphanumeric identifier that will vary by model. GM did share this video going over some new specs for this Wildcat EV. However, bear in mind they said this concept would influence the production of future Buick EVs rather than serve as an actual prototype, so this Wildcat vehicle may never actually see the light of production. And as you can see, Buick is looking to reposition the brand, including this brand new logo, and they will also involve a new marketing approach. And for some context, in the United States, last year, Buick sold 180,000 vehicles, Chevrolet was at 1.4 million, GMC was at 482,000, and Cadillac was at 118,000. So while I don't have a ton of confidence in GM, just the thought of a future where the road is filled with quiet, clean EVs gets me very excited. A quick update on the Chinese EV market. NIO delivered around 7,000 vehicles in May. XPeng delivered 10,125, and Li Auto came in for the month of May at 11,500. We got a little excerpt from Herbert Diess saying, Tesla works at twice the industry pace in many processes, but still needs to ramp up highly complex factories and find qualified workers to win the electric vehicle race. I would just add, Tesla hasn't had any problem finding qualified talent. If you look at their applications for last year, over 3 million. And lastly, Ford might be unveiling something today. They had this cryptic tweet yesterday with just a bunch of black emojis and then commented 6/1/2022. So keep your eyes out later tonight. If something comes out, you'll know we'll cover it tomorrow. That'll do it for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.